We'll move on to another Eastern Conference team that has some little bit of uncertainty about their future, and that's the Pittsburgh Penguins. The first piece of news that dropped is that Bryan Rust signs a pretty sweetheart deal. 6 years, $5.125 million. Kind of, what were your first thoughts when that signing dropped?
Yeah, probably the most team-friendly deal in the league. Like, Gensel makes 6 as well. I mean, there's just something about wearing the Penguins uniform, like a culture that makes team-friendly deals happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all for it. I mean, Evolving Hockey projected his cap hit next year to be $7.99 million. And honestly, yeah, so did I. Like, he's a better two-way player than William Nylander and scores at a similar rate. If Nylander signed the $7 million deal, 3 years ago, I thought for sure Rust discount would be $7 million.
That's true.
I thought he would be worth at least $8. I am so confused how they got him to sign for that little.
He must be really comfortable there.
Yeah, and you know what that tells me? That tells me that this core isn't done. Because if the core was rumored to go, like if there was some speculation in that locker room, there's no way Bryan Rust is taking a team-friendly deal for no reason, right? This tells me I would expect Malkin and Letang to take team-friendly deals now as well. Like,
well, that's the thing is what does team-friendly look like for them? Because they've got about $23 million in cap space now to sign not only Letang and Gino, but also Kapanen, Heinen, Evan Rodriguez, Rickard Rakell if they want to keep him. I don't think they will because he was a deadline acquisition.
Louis Domingue too, right?
Yeah, they need a backup. They need a spicy pork boy back.
Yeah.
So they got 23 mil, but they got to sign these 5 guys. 23 mil sounds like a lot, but Gino makes 9.5 now. I don't know if he's going to take less than that.
There's no way Gino's going to get $9.5 million on the open market. I think a fair evaluation for injury-ridden Evgeny Malkin is probably 7.5 right now.
From what I've heard or what I've read, I don't hear anything. What I've read is that he wants his bag. He wants to get paid again.
What team is paying him $9.5 million?
I don't know.
I think he is probably worth, as an overpay, 8. And you know what? If that's true, you give 7 to Malkin, 7 to Letang, that's $14 million. Then you got, now 9. I can't do math, 9 more million to sign those 4 guys. Even if you lose one of them, the core's back and this team's ready to ride or die for another year.
Well, I think that, I don't know if you heard that Crosby interview, but Crosby said, I'll be back for these 3 years. Yeah. And then he said, I think Gino and Letang said they'll also be here for 3 years. So he kind of like said that we're sticking around.
I was very, very worried about Evgeny Malkin because right after the season ended, the postseason ended, he got on the press conference and said, you know what, I want to be a Pittsburgh Penguin, but if they don't want me, that's fine. I'll go somewhere else.
That's kind of crazy.
And I was like, uh-oh. But then when Bryan Rust signs this deal, this deal is a clear indication to me that those guys are going to come back because Bryan Rust didn't take a team-friendly deal. He took something way more than that. I don't even know the word for it. 6 years, $31 million is highway robbery. That tells me that they need money to sign these guys and they have a plan for it because Bryan Rust is not taking that chance.
Yeah, that would be crappy for Bryan Rust if he gets like sewered now and those guys don't stick around. There's all this money to give him.
Yeah.
But let's see. I kind of hope the Penguins can run it back and have some success again because we all kind of love Sid and want to see him do well.
Yeah, what the question now is what do they go do? Like, in my opinion, the answer is centerman depth and move Malkin to the wing. We've seen this time and time again where big centers that lose their speed at a high rate move to the wing and experience a lot of success. I think we're going to see this with Jonathan Tavares pretty soon as well. But if we do this and move Malkin to the wing, I don't know. Scheif and Kadri are available. We've talked about this, but the core is in here.
Cap space.
The core is in here for long. Cap space as well. So Kadri is likely not going to sign here long term.
No.
But I don't know. You talk about cap space and the core not being here for long. Mark Scheifele's contract fits both those bills. He has an extremely team-friendly deal for, 2-3 more years, which is how long the cap is projected to be here.
Interesting.
Mark Scheifele wants to leave. This team needs centerman depth. Who in the heck does not want to play with Sidney Crosby? If there was a move that they were going to do, it's this one. And then you offload depth on the third and fourth line and just ride or die with that top 6.
Interesting.
right?
All your Mark Scheifele conspiracy theories.
Yeah, it just seems so perfect, right? Like he's team friendly. It's 2 or 3 more years. That's how long Sidney Crosby is going to stay here for.
True.
It's obviously way easier said than done because I'm sure the Winnipeg Jets are going to want 12 first-round picks for Mark Scheifele. But, I mean, if there was a player to go get, yeah, it's that one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point.